Thank you, Chair and Co-Chair. Today I'm going to talk about the IGBC way of presenting green homes or the residential projects. Way back in 2001, when you see we have got commercial rating program for the buildings, right? Then we have seen 7 to 8 years, 2007, 2008 onwards, stakeholders like you asked, why don't you have rating for homes especially? Because we have only for commercial buildings. Because both types are different. A home is completely different from a commercial project. Similarly, each building type is called typology, different species itself. So we actually had rating for green homes. At the time, before having the rating for a residential sector, we actually did a small survey. Because we need to identify which areas are important in the homes. So when we did the findings, these findings when we actually got in 2007, 2008 from all the stakeholders, right from architects, manufacturers, the builders, developers, and also all the academicians. What they actually felt is, normally when we talk about green homes or green buildings, we talk about energy, water. Whereas for a surprise, if you see in homes, almost 33 to 34% is daylighting and ventilation. Can you believe it? The other percent is energy and water. What I meant is, unlike the commercial projects, in the green homes, we should also more focus on the occupants. Who are actually we are building for? We are building for the occupants, not for just for building the construction, right? So the end user should be very plays a major role when you actually design the residential sector. So based on these findings, our rating systems actually developed. And this has been the criteria for across all the residential ratings which are developed since 2008 onwards to till date. If you see the building sector, as per the Climate Works Foundation, in 2005, the residential footprint was around 16,300 million square feet. That means which is already constructed, existing. Whereas if you see, it projected that by year 2030, we're going to have almost 80 to 100 billion square feet footprint, in which almost 60% belongs to the residential sector. 60%. That means whatever projects that we're going to design from now also, still we have almost 40 million square feet to be constructed, which should be green. Then, which actually puts our country number one. That's what we're actually aiming for, and all our rating systems actually revolve around these principles. Right from our green homes, we have seen, all you must have seen, pilot version in 2008 onwards. I think many of the people sitting over here, they're already experienced this thing. They have seen the version 1, they have seen the version 2, and they're going to see the version 3 as well. Then, just after knowing the experience of the homes, we also extended to the societies, the existing stock of the buildings, because we not only want to green the new buildings, also want to go green for the existing stock, because as per the signing Paris Agreement, we actually told that by 2030, all new buildings will be net zero, and existing buildings to be also net zero by 2050. In that scenario, we actually aim to go for existing stock also to be green. And coming to the Prime Minister's agenda of affordable housing, we actually championed this affordable housing rating and the leadership of Somashekar and also Anup Mittalji, because they're all the pioneers in the affordable field, and many of the stakeholders actually given inputs in this rating system so that all these three categories belongs to the residential category. So when you see the journey of green homes at the residential market, it is actually kicked in 2007, 2008 onwards. It has actually grown to 1,800 projects as of today. And we have almost 250 certified green home projects as of today, which means that around 13 lakh dwelling units are going green. And since 2016, 2017, 2018, all projects are 100% fully site verified. That means whenever a project is constructed by concept, maybe pre-certified, maybe 5, 6 years back, many of you think that they might not be doing really green, but when you go to site, you actually feel that they're actually doing much more than what actually we are given in the prescribed in the rating system. That has been proven in many of the homes. Of course, there are benefits for developers. It is actually to recognize them. So what are the benefits that we actually recognize to the developers? Because even though they're actually giving these infrastructure free to all the end users without expecting much, so we thought that developers should also get something. So when the government actually recognized all these builders and they are given incentives in the form of FAR, many of the state governments actually extending these incentives, and also many of the state governments, other state governments also looking forward to extend to other states. And also the recognition to the developer is they see as green builder. And they also get faster clearance for MOF. MOF is a central clearance for all the projects which are 2 lakh square feet and above. So that is actually one of the big incentive for a developer and builder. Because many of you ask, what is in for me? That is the main incentive for them. And of course, due to builder and developer, the market has been transformed. You must have never seen new products like today. When you go back 10 years back, you must have never seen all these projects which are coming up today. Because when developer is putting pressure or demanding the architect or the manufacturer, they are actually coming with new products. Today you have many certified products, almost 400 certified products are available for you to design actually. And also, at the large, they're actually contributing a significant to the society. That's what the great advantage given by the developer to our society. Developers also give advantage to the end users actually, because end users also feel, what is it for me? If you see the end users who are actually occupying a green home or a residential building or a affordable home, they actually end up having lower water bill costs compared to his neighbor. For example, he's in a green home, his water bill will be 1,000 rupees to 15 rupees lesser than his neighbor. Why? You must have seen in Hyderabad, almost 3 to 4 months, we actually end up paying for the water bill, water tankers. A 10,000 tanker pays roughly around 2,500 rupees. So through low flow fixtures, through proper rainwater harvesting systems, through redirecting the wastewater treatment to the flushing systems or landscaping, you are saving this much of amount for each dwelling unit. Also, energy savings, the developer is actually putting LED lightings, efficient lighting systems in the common area so that the burden on each dwelling unit is decreased. Because when you pay maintenance post-occupancy, you see that around 500 rupees to 1,000 rupees is decreased in your maintenance bill. So that is one of the advantages to the end user actually. Not only this one, they also think about occupant well-being. These are all intangible benefits. So if you see, they actually give almost 15 to 30% green cover in their projects. Not necessarily that you may not see green on the ground, but at least they actually give green on the podiums or vertical greenery in the buildings. If you carefully examine, they actually see that at least 15% green cover is provided in the building overall. And of course, they're taking care of universal friendly designs. Not only the differently abled, they also taking care of senior citizens when they design these projects, right from the entry to the all spaces in the project. So that's why our green homes are senior living friendly also. When you go to any green home, we actually done some interviews. When you go to any site inspection verification, when the building is almost 50–60% occupied, many of the end users felt that they're very happy residing in the green home or green society. That's what we are seeing is a greater user satisfaction actually. I would like to show 2 incremental costs because many of you ask us, a green home is very, very costly than a normal conventional home. Let's see 2 examples here. This is a home in Kolkata. This is called as Peacock Nest by ITC. It's designed for their own staff and employees. It is a very small house of 44,000 square feet. It has got 15 dwelling units. The total cost of the project is 7.5 crores. I asked him, what is the investment towards green? So he has given the list of all the projects breakup because I wanted very clear breakup. Then only I want to know what is the clear cost. They are told STP 15 KLD is a small portable STP from Syntax. It is 18 lakhs cost. A solar hot water system they installed for 3,000 liters. It is around 8 lakhs. A organic waste converter of 20 kg. It is a combust system of 0.75 kg. Then XPS, the roof insulation, they put extra money. It is around 2 lakhs. And miscellaneous like our fees, consultant fees put to 10 lakhs. When overall you see here, it is 5% incremental cost for a small building of 44,000 square feet. And the payback is less than 1 year. This is by the client figures. Let's see a large project now. This is in Chennai. It is a KG Citernity. The built-up area here is 1,31,000 square feet. They have roughly 86 dwelling units. The project cost here is roughly around 20 crores. The green investment that they did it is roughly around cool motor, STP, dual plumbing lines for the wastewater to be converted to the flushing tanks, then green education signage, alternative diesel set because they want to convert normal diesel set into biodiesel set, then of course fees for towards certification, etc. Their incremental cost is 1.8%. What I meant to say is, smaller the project, because when you see investment here, the percentage may increase. Here the payback is less than 1 year. These all figures are been taken from the developer itself. It's not our own writings. So these are all very clear. That's why I give very clear breakup also, so that you can actually believe and do even your own apartments. I would like to see some unique concepts that are IGBC actually implemented in many projects, and all are actually taken from the site visits. So how many of you miss sparrows, butterflies, dragonflies? Nobody? Oh, I see just 30%. So we actually encourage something called biodiversity. Any project that we go, you see a lot of greenery. Many of the developers actually, at least 15% they demarcate only for the green. They don't disturb the Mother Earth. When you disturb the Mother Earth, what happens? You are removing the complete cycle actually. So they actually see that at least 10 to 15% is kept as it is, and still they actually increase the landscape to further up, 30, 40% they actually increase. So what actually it brings is, it actually brings the biodiversity in place. The flora and fauna takes place. This is one of the fundamental things in all green homes that you're actually going to see. It can be certified, it can be silver, it can be gold or platinum, doesn't matter, but this is one of the very, very important aspects that you see in a green home. One more thing is heat island effect. When you do a greenery across the site, it also helps in reducing the heat island effect. What do you mean by heat island effect? You are in Hyderabad now, you may experience 35 degrees now outside. When you move towards the villages, maybe 100 kilometers outside, you may feel 30 degrees maybe, certainly lower temperature, right? Why the difference? The difference between the here temperature, the urban temperature and the surrounding rural temperatures, that small difference is called as heat island effect. In our green homes, we want to reduce that small difference. Why that high temperature? The ambient temperature is maybe 32, but you are feeling that it is 35. So in green homes or green buildings, we are actually tending that please go for more greenery so that the heat islands effect is reduced. So that the less concrete, or go for materials which can reduce the high intensity of heat. So that's why we go for tree covers, the materials which have less solar reflective index categories. For a roof also, we say that go for a white paint. Why white paint? It reflects the heat back. White chernobyl tiles, it reflects the heat back. Very simple concepts have been given in the green home so that everybody can actually implement this one. Of course, the envelope and the orientation. We actually recommend that go for a right kind of envelope. You can select any of the options here. Suppose, for example, you select the brick. The thermal conductivity is actually very important, plays a very important role in the efficiency of the building. The thermal conductivity here for a brick is 2.63 watt per square meter degree Kelvin. Say, for example, you compare with a AAC block. Normally, we recommend go for a thermal conductivity which is better. The AAC blocks have got a U value of 0.48 watt per square meter degree Kelvin. That means lower the thermal conductivity, better the savings for you. Simple. So what we say is, please select any envelope which is having lower the thermal conductivity value. So we have given an option of 6. So whichever is preferred to you, and the costs within your budget, you can select any of the options here. So like this, we actually recommend so many projects, whatever they can select in the categories given. Roof also, always we say that overdeck insulation is recommended for the top roof so that the heat is rejected in the first place. So any of the roofs, for example, XPS or extruded polystyrene or thermocol, the top roof can be recommended for the avoiding all heat into your homes. What is the actual intent? Can you believe it? Can you guess? The intent here is when heat is rejected in the interior spaces, the load on the AC is decreased. Otherwise, you switch on your AC continuously, the load on the AC will be increased. So one of the efficient efficiency that can be recommended is go for a insulation on the top roof of the building, because heat is first entered in the building from the roof only. And of course, without water, we cannot sustain. So water is given very, very high importance in all our residential buildings. And here we talk about simple low flow, flush, and flow fixtures. Flush means our flushing fixtures like WC, water closets. We see that we go for a dual flush systems for all our homes. When you have seen your olden systems, one flush, 15 liters gone, right? Whereas we are going for dual flush. For a solid flush, you may use 6 liters. For a liquid flush, you use 3 liters. Automatically, you get a savings of almost 30 to 40% saved. Water is saved every flush. That's why we recommend go for dual flush in all your homes. Even existing buildings also, please go for a new dual flush unit if you are using a normal single flush. And also, we promote low flow fixtures. That means your taps fit with aerator. Most of the homes today come with aerators, so they actually reduce the water savings actually. So all the homes now, 20 to 30% saved through simple aerators actually. And of course, showers also coming up with a good aerators so that water is saved. Almost 50% saved in the showers which are coming with the aerators actually. So that also we recommend go for a normal nominal aerator so that not much of water is actually wasted. This is one of the natural treating of wastewater called as phytoremediation. Phyto means plant, remediation means anything you treat with plants. You say that I am putting a mechanical STP here, doesn't work after 5 years. You can try this one also, phytoremediation, alternative thing, which there is one-time investment and there is no investment in the post-occupancy. Only thing is, the society should maintain this one. It looks like a garden on the top, but functions effectively. This is one of the best options in where you have a factory or manufacturing place or large societies there, they can actually maintain this, one of the best natural treatment of wastewater system. And of course, due to only common area load, now we are actually recommending in the projects, many of the developers are going for 100% LED solar panels for their complete load of the common area lighting. Because anyway they're going for LED lighting, 50% load is already gone. So it's very easy on the developer's point of view to go for a completely 100% solar PVs for entire common area lighting. This is one of the aspects many of the projects are actually implementing today. So you may see many projects going to do this one in almost new projects. One more fundamental thing is segregation of waste, which is practiced in almost all homes. It is a mandatory also, dry and wet waste. But many of the developers asked us, is only segregating the thing, dry and wet waste, whether the household end users will follow. But we have seen that after developers handing over the building, after 3-4 years, we have done something called as GRS, rating for existing residential society. This project is actually under GRS. What they did is, the developer has given a chutes, dry and wet waste. Once they collect the dry waste, and they actually used to give to vendors. And the wet waste, they actually go on a vermicomposting bin at top, on the terrace top. So they actually give the wet waste they collect in the households and put in the vermicomposting bins. Once they collect this compost, they use for the entire landscaping. Where the dry waste which is not used, they have an incinerator here, they actually burn it. So that no waste is actually gone out of the campus. If you see you go to Kerala or Kochi, almost all the projects has got this system. Dry and wet waste system available on the roof. That means all the dry waste which is actually need to go outside, they actually burn it here only. That means no waste actually. All the wet waste, they actually put in vermicomposting, used as a composting material. Of course, very important system, ventilation. In kitchens, how many of you seen black spots around your exhaust fans? Black spots. Yeah. Why it is? In India, we do a lot of cooking. The women spend a lot of time there. Many of the homes that we've seen, and we have done survey also, that none of the kitchens has got proper ventilation standard. That means the areas, opening areas, due to which the carbon is deposited around your exhaust fans. That means even the right kind of capacity is also not built in the exhaust fan, which is actually fitted. So what actually we did is, we prescribed a percentage, opening percentage in each space in the dwelling unit, so that they should meet all the homes that you see certified by IGBC, several categories are actually meeting this threshold. That means, if you see this kitchen, they have 8% opening in this space of 100 square feet of kitchen area. 8% should be openable area, that is openable windows. Also, the kitchen exhaust fan, if it is there, that should meet at least 100 square feet, 100 CFM capacity of fan, your exhaust fan. Or go for a simple exhaust system which takes care of all your kitchen exhaust. This is one fundamental requirement in a home. And of course, during construction, we are coming with alternative materials. We talk about premix so that water is saved, light expanded clay concrete, which is a part of your aggregate so that because due to its vacuum, so much of cement is actually saved. Today there is no sand, so we are actually recommending go for M sand, which is available in the market now. So many of the state governments in Kerala, for example, completely river sand is banned. Everybody aware of this one, I think. So we are actually promoting go for alternative means of natural materials so that you save or you reduce the dependence on the virgin resources. That is the ultimate intent of all these materials components. Of course, we have certified products. So we actually recommend that whenever the product you select, please see if a certified product is available in that range. We recommend to go for certified product instead of normal conventional products. So that ultimately you are actually working on localized materials, recycled materials, ensuring that these materials doesn't harm your children or doesn't pollute the volatile organic compounds because you are staying in a home. For example, when you go for a certified paint, there is no smell. For example, when you lock your home and go for a vacation, come back after 1 week, first time you open the doors, what happens? You get smell, right? All the materials will emit the VOCs, something called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. We prescribe that go for a water-based paints. There's no lead, no tin components in the paints, which are actually pollutes your internal system actually. So that actually causes your bronchitis or maybe it increases your coughing system. So we actually prescribe go for certified products in all your finishes actually, especially. So before I end, I would like to close like this. A green home creates delight when you enter, serenity and health when occupied. And when you regret, when you departed. This is given by Natural Capitalism, Amarul Lovins. We actually borrowed this definition from him. So thank you so much.